and transform the world with love. Let us begin our worship with these opening words by Reverend Dr. David Breeden. With dirt on our hands. Come into this moment as if stepping into a garden at dawn, quiet, tender, open to what may grow. Let compassion be the flower we bend toward. We return as if returning to the soil, hands in the dirt, willing to tend what needs tending. Here, today, we gather to remember that the most delicate blooms require daily care, that attention is the water of love, that we are still learning how to care. Come, let us begin again in love, tending the garden of the heart and the heart of compassion.
Thank you, Helen. Good morning. I'm Heather Norby. I am the Spiritual Life Director for this fantastic congregation, and it's so great to see you all today. I use the pronouns she and her, and I thank you for your grace as I attempted to sing a song that I've been singing for 17 years, but, apparently just forgotten. I just have a few announcements for what's going on around here and the ways that you can connect with others and support the church. First of all, there is a potluck. Potluck is today after the service. Yay! You are welcome to join us, whether you brought food or not. Go on into the social hall and get to know each other. It's always a great time when we spend it together during potluck. And then after potluck, when our tummies are full, there's a board meeting. I think, that'll start about 1 o'clock. That'll be in here in the sanctuary, and so the board meets, and anyone who's not on the board is welcome to come observe and see what we're up to. Also today, from noon to 6, so you won't make it at noon hopefully because you'll be in here, but it goes till 6 p.m. at the Lake Mirror Auditorium is the Rainbow Roots Festival. I believe it's being put on by Rose Dynasty Foundation. There's going to be artists, and they're all queer artists, celebration, lots of things to do. And the Interfaith Coalition is going to have a table set up there, so I'll be going there eventually after the board meeting, but they will be there. And I definitely gave the rabbi some rainbow stickers to hand out, so if you go visit the rabbi and get your sticker. Let's see, this Wednesday there is no program. I'm going out of town for 5 days. I'm heading up to Virginia to see some fall leaves and our former member Brandon, that some of you may remember. I'm super excited. I'm trying to get through this quickly. Oh, on October 26th. October 26th? Never mind then.
Remember, because there's also the new members.
Oh, yeah. Oh, October 26th starts the new member classes. So if you are new to the congregation and you are interested in learning more about Unitarian Universalism, you may come to the class after church on October 26th. And get to know us, get to know each other. They're not just classes, they're also small groups. If you're already a member and you've been here for years and years, you're also welcome to come join us because it's about getting to know each other and getting to know Unitarian Universalism. So that starts on October 26th. It's a series of 4 classes, and the rest of the classes' dates and times are in the newsletter. Dorothy has an announcement.
I'll be real fast.
Real fast.
Okay, our major fundraiser is December 14th, our auction, our service auction, and please think about what you can donate. And in the newsletter, it'll have a link that you can write up your donation. And please think about what you can donate because it's real important. We need to support this church.
See? Okay. Thank you, Dorothy. We are going to start taking up a food collection. One of my colleagues in the Interfaith Coalition has alerted us to some activity that's been going on in the area and that there are families in need of food. So I have a list. It's things like masa, beans, rice, oil, tomato sauce, potatoes, spaghetti, or shells for soups, canned vegetables, peanut butter, dry cereals like Cheerios, and crackers. I will publish this list in the newsletter, but I do want to start collecting food right away to get out to folks. And as always, we start with the people that have been affected in our congregation, and then we start helping people outside of our congregation. So we're going to, 1, collect food, and then 2, also next week is a special collection, and we will be taking up funds for what we call the Ministerial Discretionary Fund, so that I can use it to address food insecurity in our congregation. So does that make sense? So you can donate food, you can donate money, it will all go to food insecure folks, especially those that are being affected by what's going on around us. Sherry's.
Where do you want us to put the food when we bring it here? Is there a special place?
Good question.
We'll make a bin.
We'll make a bin. Thank you, Dorothy. We'll make a bin. All right. And finally, tomorrow is Indigenous Peoples Day. All right. I think that's all I got. Check your newsletter, as always, which will be out tomorrow. Helen.
The flaming chalice is the symbol of this Unitarian Universalist faith. We light it each Sunday, as do UU churches around the world, to create sacred space, to connect us with one another, and to remember who we are as a people of faith. Catherine Steele, would you please do us the honor of lighting our chalice? Now let us rise in body or spirit and sing Spirit of Life, hymn number 123, first in English and then in Spanish.
Arraigame, 'Liberame, 'When the 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 'When the
this is the moment when I invite our children and the young at heart to come forward for our message for all ages. There we go.
We're getting there.
It's okay. I am a patient person. All right. Yay. Okay, I have a little book for you today, but it has some big words in it. Yeah, I might need help with those big words. What do you think? Will you help me? Yeah? All right. No way.
Whoa.
Magic Tree House. My favorite. Love those. I'm proud of you. Well, this book is called Words and Your Heart. What do you think words have to do with your heart? Saying things? Saying things that are polite. Okay. Is it on? It's on now?
Sorry.
Okay. So I turned it off instead of on. Now it's on. Great. Having one of those days. Yeah, words and your heart. What do you think? Yeah? Let's see what's in here. Let's see what kind of words are in here and what they have to do with our heart, okay? This book is about your heart. The little bit inside of you that makes you, you. Will you listen very carefully? Will you listen very carefully? Okay. Because it's really, oh, here's a big word I might need help with. Importance. Importance. It's really important to listen. And it might help you be a happier you. Okay, who wants to be a happier you? Yeah, for sure. And the people around you be a happier them. Who wants to make other people around you be happier? Totally. You see, the words that go into your ears can actually affect your heart, the little bit inside of you that makes you you. Oh, okay. Your words can do, oh, here's a big word. You did it. Amazing. Your words can do amazing things. You want to read? No? Amazing. All right. You want to be amazing? Oh, yeah, that was it. Yeah, let's be amazing. They can describe things if they are big. Yes. Words are amazing because they can describe things that are big, or if they are little. Can you see? What's up there? Oh, there's a picture up there too. You're right. It's a picture in the book. Words can explain stuff, so you understand that it goes whiz, whoosh, and boom. Or spin, tinkle, and ping. Wow, words are amazing. Okay, words can make you happy and make you want to sing. Do you want to sing? Sing. Do it again. Beautiful. Yes, lovely. That was great. But sometimes, this is important. Sometimes words can make us cry. We all know what sort of words those are. You see, sometimes words can be like a deadly arrow that can pierce someone's heart. The little bit inside of them that makes them them. Some words can really hurt. Oh no. Have you ever felt words that hurt? Yeah, I think we all have. Because words have power. Where is that? Words have power. Yeah. And then it says, dun dun dun. Your words can actually change the way someone's heart feels. You know, their heart, that little bit inside of them that makes them them. If someone feels sad, your words can cheer them up. Have you ever cheered anyone up before with your words? Oh, doesn't that feel good? If someone feels...
One time we were at the playground when my friend fell down after they just slided on the slide.
Oh no, and did you help with your words? Yeah, you say nice words? Oh, thank you for doing that. If someone feels weak, your words can help them feel strong.
I saved someone
You saved someone?
that wasn't ready to go down the slide.
You did. Did you use words?
I kissed them.
Oh, you called them. And you used words. That's so nice of you. If someone wants to give up, like maybe they were giving up going down the slide, your words can help them keep going. Your words can make them giggle. Have you told a funny joke before? Made people laugh? Yes.
I told a funny joke before.
Did you? I bet you did. Can you tell me? You tell me later, yeah? Okay. Make them grin, make them laugh out loud, and roll around. Do you get it? Your words are amazing and powerful. Right. Good job, y'all. You got some good words. How about we use our words to look after each other's hearts? You know, the little bit inside of us that makes us us. So let's try it together and see the difference it makes. Today, somebody's world can be a better place because of you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Doesn't that make your heart feel good?
Yes.
So what nice words can you use for each other? What do you think? Can you say something nice? Thank you. What else? Please. Okay.
You're welcome.
You're welcome. Calliope has a pretty dress on.
Will you play with me?
Will you play with me?
Come play with me.
I like the way that you all read that book with me. I enjoyed that. What do you think? Are you ready to go out with, yes. Great. Well, while you're out there, remember how powerful your words are so that you can speak kindly to each other and make the world a better place. Huh. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. All right. Well,
Pick up our pillows.
you're welcome to the pillows. Go on out. I see you later, okay? We'll have some food. We'll have some lunch together.
Wasn't that a great story?
Yes.
Here we gather, tucked back in this friendly neighborhood between the beautiful tall pines. We are a community of people who have arrived from many different paths, yet we seek a common goal: to bring more love to a hurting but beautiful world. We do this by building our UUCL community with our time, talents, and treasures. Our shared UU value of generosity calls us to covenant with one another that we freely and compassionately share our faith, presence, and resources so that the dream of beloved community becomes a reality. Please help us grow into our dreams as our ushers pass the plate for our collection.
Helen, would you please light our healing candle for us today? We take a moment each week to light our healing candle, just to remind us that there are so many things in this world that need our healing touch. And I offer you a short prayer or meditation. Spirit of life and love, we call on you today to heal our hearts in the places that have been bruised and broken by words centered in fear and hatred. We might wonder why it is so much easier for us to hurt one another than it is for us to love one another. Spirit of life and love, of truth and compassion, teach us to see others with the eyes of peacemakers in this divided yet sacred world. Amen, and may we make it so. A ritual of the sharing of joys and sorrows is a prayerful time in which we listen to our hearts, minds, bodies, and souls to discern what it is we need in this moment of healing. This ritual allows for us to connect our lives and deepen our faith in the understanding that we belong to one another. We are here to care for one another, and through caring, we illuminate the beauty of our interdependence. In our Joys and Sorrows book, you are able to write any significant joy or sorrow occurring in your life that you would like for the congregation to know. Today, I have a note from Dorothy, who says that yesterday, Tom and Marcia Bergen and Ken and I went to Frozen at the Winter Haven Theater. Dorothy says she's seen hundreds of plays, but this by far was the best she's experienced, and she cried the whole time. This is from Destiny's niece, written by Destiny. My mama is going to Guatemala to see my stepdad for the first time in months. Please keep her in your thoughts and prayers for safe travels. Indeed, we will. Helen says, it is wonderful to be back, and it is wonderful to have you back. And Emily shares a joy. She writes, my husband and I celebrated our 5-year wedding anniversary on Friday. Congratulations and happy anniversary. And I will just ask you to say our little prayer together. You are not alone. We are holding it together. Thank you. I invite you now to come forward for our ritual of joys and sorrows. You may take whichever stone or stones feels right to you and drop it in the bowl, connecting to others and feeling the power of being together in this community. And Pedro will put stones in for Joshua, who's home now. And for anyone joining us on Zoom or on our streaming services, good morning. Thank you for joining us. October starts our journey down the path of cultivating compassion. So we might ask ourselves, what is compassion? Let us center ourselves now in the meaning of compassion with some quotes. The first one from Krishna Kumar, who says, "Compassion is what happens when you encounter another person suffering. Go beyond your feelings of empathy or altruism and step forward to help alleviate that suffering." And the Rabbi Esther Adler writes, "There is a hierarchy of responses when we encounter suffering. Pity says, 'I see your pain.' Sympathy says, 'I understand your pain.' Empathy says, 'I feel your pain.' Compassion says, 'I am with you in your pain and I will help.'" But what does it mean to cultivate compassion? How do we cultivate compassion? Perhaps this quote from John O'Donohue will help. He writes, "It takes great courage and grace to feel the call to awaken, and it takes greater courage and more grace still to actually submit to the call, to risk yourself into these interior spaces where there is very often little protection. It takes a great person to creatively inhabit her own mind and not turn her mind into a destructive force that can ransack her life. You need compassion for yourself, particularly in American society, because many people in America identify themselves through the models and modules of psychology that inevitably categorize them as a syndrome. Lovely people feel that their real identity is working on themselves, and some work on themselves with such harshness. Like a demented gardener who won't let the soil settle for anything to grow, they keep raking, tearing away the nurturing clay from their own heart. Then they're surprised that they feel so empty and vacant. Self-compassion is paramount. When you are compassionate with yourself, you trust in your soul, which you let guide your life. Your soul knows the geography of your destiny better than you do. Please join me in singing and rise in body or spirit a new hymn from our virtual hymnal, which is online. It's called Sing Out Love. That's the name of the hymnal. And the song is called Come With Me. It was composed by Penny Blake. We will...
Would you like me to play it through once?
Sure, and Adam will play it through once, and then we'll sing it together. and like to invite Destiny up to the microphone.
Hi, my name is Destiny.
Hello, Destiny.
My pronouns are she, her. I'm going to share a little bit of a testimony with you guys today. I apologize in advance if I get emotional. I'm very much a suffer in silence kind of person, and this is not something I have talked about.
It's okay, I'm sure.
So, bear with me. I stand before you today, not for myself, but for my 8-year-old niece, my 2-year-old nephew, and the countless families whose lives have been upended by the injustices woven into our country's immigration policies. The theme for October is Cultivating Compassion, and it's my hope that by sharing my family's story, I do just that. Not for me, but for the people who are currently living in fear, people who could use our compassion the most. Jane Fonda once said, "In this country, the only way a minority can get anything done is to make a little noise." That quote has lived in my heart, especially in recent years. Like many of you, I watched with disbelief as news headlines were filled with images of ICE raids, swift, aggressive, and violent. I watched as fear took root in entire communities. But I also watched something else. I watched people rise. In cities like Los Angeles, families, neighbors, and strangers marched side by side, peacefully, courageously, and unapologetically, defending what they had built. But what started in peace was too often met with force. I'll never forget the pit in my stomach watching footage of those protests, people beaten, maced, shot at, for nothing more than raising their voices in hope. And then came the cries, the heartbreaking videos of children being torn from their parents, screams that echoed through social media like sirens. And in those cries, I heard my own family. I thought of my oldest niece, just 8 years old, trying to understand a world where she could be hated for the language her and her parents speak or the color of her skin. I thought of my youngest nephew, only 2 years old, the kind of boy who waves and blows kisses to strangers without hesitation. And I found myself asking, how did we become so afraid of kindness, so desensitized to pain that we chose cruelty over compassion? And then it wasn't just something we saw in the news, it became our reality. My husband's stepmother spent thousands of dollars filing for asylum, only to be denied. Relatives quietly started transferring car titles, moving money, and preparing for the worst, because in today's America, a routine traffic stop could tear a family apart. And then we got that dreaded call. My concuñado, my niece's stepfather, was detained while working near the Canadian border in Michigan. That night, in her panic, my sister-in-law called his phone again and again and again, until a customs officer finally answered and allowed him just a few minutes to speak. Her husband had been interrogated, searched, and held, despite having a valid work visa, despite being legally married and in the process of getting legal residency, despite doing everything right. None of it mattered. We spent weeks calling lawyer after lawyer. Watching my sister-in-law fight tooth and nail just to be heard was both inspiring and heartbreaking. And through it all, we had to watch my niece collapse in sobs as she struggled to understand why she couldn't trade her biological father, who had abandoned her long ago, for her stepfather, who had stepped up to become what she needed. What we later discovered is that her biological father had already been deported. Her stepfather was held in an old maximum security prison with horrible conditions. He got sick multiple times during the months he was there, receiving little to no help or care. He had been put in front of a judge a handful of times, each time asking to be released with a different stipulation. The judge refused. No ankle monitor, no probation, no bond. His options were to stay in that detainment center until his residency process was complete, or to voluntarily deport himself and continue the process from Guatemala. Hence the joys and sorrow He has safely returned to his family in Guatemala, and my sister-in-law is flying out there for 2 weeks to help him. Unfortunately, that makes him one of the lucky ones. This is the America we are living in. And while politicians boast about cracking down on criminals, the truth is damning. As of August 10th of this year, over 70% of individuals held in ICE detention had no criminal convictions whatsoever. And as of September 8th, the Supreme Court held a shadow cast session in an attempt to overturn the Brignoni-Ponce ruling, which would allow ICE and Border Patrol to stop individuals solely based on appearance or language spoken. That is not just morally bankrupt, it is a symptom of a deeper sickness, a loss of empathy, a loss of compassion. Every day my husband goes to work covered in dirt and speaking Spanish with his coworkers. I'm afraid that I will be the recipient of that call next. That my husband, despite being born and raised here, will be taken away. Now more so than ever. When I was in school, we were taught that America was a melting pot of people and cultures, and that was our proudest trait. We have countless monuments dedicated to just that. So where has our compassion gone? What happened to those open arms with which we used to embrace those who needed us the most? No human being should fear leaving their home. No child should wonder whether today is the day they lose a parent. No family should be forced to prove their humanity. Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm gonna sit for a moment. We can do this. I got this. So with Jane Fonda's words echoing in our hearts, my sister-in-law and I did the only thing we could. We made noise. We marched, we protested. We stood across from counter-protesters twice our size, waiting for us to slip, to retaliate as they screamed in our faces. But we didn't. I'm so sorry. We raised our voices until they cracked. We showed up again and again because silence is complicity. Because we had to become the voices for those who had been silenced. And this fight is not just about the Latino community. In Georgia, over 300 South Korean workers were detained and put in chains like they were animals after one woman called ICE, destroying a Hyundai factory project that could have brought thousands of jobs to the region. They had work visas, they did everything right. In Massachusetts, a Turkish PhD student named Rumesa Öztürk was ripped from her front steps by plainclothes agents because of an opinion piece she wrote for her school paper. These stories are not isolated. They are part of a pattern, a strategy. They want to silence us, to erase difference, to mold us into a cookie-cutter version of America where everyone looks, sounds, and thinks the same. But we will not be erased, and we will not give up. Because at its core, this is not a political issue, it's a moral one. It's about choosing humanity over hatred, mercy over fear, compassion over cruelty. We must continue to show up, not just for our families, but for every innocent child torn from their parents, for every person detained without cause, for every community that dreams of not power, but peace, for every person who left everything behind to try and make a better life here, and for the future we owe to the next generation, a future where dignity, justice, and love are not privileges, but birthrights. Let us remember, compassion is not weakness, it is strength, and we need that strength now more than ever.
Isaiah, can you just play for like 30 seconds? Thank you. We'll just take that in.
For today's message, Heather has interspersed readings from the Reverend Cameron Trimble of the United Church of Christ. With her words, my readings will be from the Reverend Cameron Trimble. There's a reason so many of us feel disoriented, not just because of what is happening around us, but because of what is happening to us. We are being conditioned to shut down, slowly, steadily, and almost imperceptibly. The barrage of cruelty, confusion, spectacle, and spin has a cumulative effect. It wears on our capacity to feel, to care, to respond with presence rather than reflex. We are being trained through repetition to expect harm and then to normalize it.
A common Buddhist teaching states, words have the power to both destroy and heal. When words are both true and kind, they can change our world. The Bible in the book of Proverbs, chapter 18, verse 21, tells us that death and life are in the power of the tongue. The Quran states, speak to people good words. One of the 4 principles of Taoism states, kindness in words creates confidence. No doubt I could find many other examples from the world's religions and philosophies on the power of words. Why then has this saying become so pervasive? Sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me. How many of you in the room said that when you were a kid? Or heard it said to you from other kids? Yeah. But we know that's not a true statement. The problem is it's been repeated over and over again throughout our lifetimes. So many people have come to believe it or have tried to believe it. It is one of the many faulty sayings that has conditioned us to shut down. And it has had obvious effects on our culture, one in which we use words carelessly and as weapons, as if that is just normal. And then we expect ourselves and others not to feel harmed. Words do hurt, though. And this hurt goes beyond just the moment when the words come out of our mouths. Words shape how we see people. Words shape how we treat people. Words can build bridges and walls. Let's talk about a couple words that are currently shaping our culture and causing great harm. We will start with the word illegals, a word we hear way too often in the news, in politics, and sometimes even from people we love. It's a word that carries more weight than we may realize. And it's a word that is purposely repeated over and over by powerful people who are working to divide us. The word illegal is now used as a noun to label people. The people using it will tell you that harm will come from the people being labeled as such, so we should be fearful of people they call illegals. And of course, even people here legally or who are in the process of being here legally are labeled illegals if they have a different skin color or speak a different language. Using the word illegals is dehumanizing for all of us. It numbs our souls. It becomes easier not to care what happens to people. It becomes easier not to care what happens to other sacred human beings.
That is the danger of this moment. Not just political collapse or climate unraveling or the erosion of public trust, but the numbing of our souls. In times like these, numbness masquerades as wisdom. It can seem like the smart choice to disengage, to go silent, to retreat behind a wall of indifference, self-righteousness, sarcasm, or cynicism. But those strategies of self-protection eventually become self-abandonment. As Thomas Merton once said, the biggest human temptation is to settle for too little. And numbness, however understandable, is too little for our full aliveness.
In 1882, with the Chinese Exclusion Act, the United States created the category of illegal immigration. According to the National Archives, in the spring of 1882, the Chinese Exclusion Act was passed by Congress and signed by President Chester A. Arthur. This act provided an absolute 10-year ban on Chinese laborers immigrating to the United States. For the first time, federal law prescribed entry of an ethnic working group on the premise that it endangered the good order of certain localities. When the Exclusion Act expired in 1892, it was renewed with the Geary Act. The outcome of labeling people of certain ethnicities illegal? Years of racial hostility and anti-immigrant agitation by white Americans and setting the precedent for later restrictions against immigration of other nationalities. 1882 began a new era in which the United States changed from a country that welcomed almost all immigrants to one that exerted control over immigrants. Criteria were gradually set regarding which people, in terms of their ethnicity, gender, and class, could be admitted. The very definition of what it meant to be an American became more exclusionary. Meanwhile, in October of 1886, the Statue of Liberty, formally entitled Liberty Enlightening the World, was completed and dedicated to the U.S. Give me your tired, your poor, your huddled masses yearning to breathe free.
Tenderness is not weakness. It is resistance in its most radiant form. It's how we stay soft without surrendering. It's how we walk through the world with our eyes open and our hearts intact.
Let's add another problematic word to our list of things we should not call one another. Alien. The term illegal alien began appearing in U.S. law in the early 20th century, particularly around the 1920s as immigration restrictions tightened. In 1986, the term illegal alien was codified into U.S. law under President Ronald Reagan. Anti-immigrant groups will tell you that illegal alien is the correct term to use because it is the legal term. They will tell you that no malicious intent was ever meant by employing the usage of these words. Groups like FAIR, the Federation for American Immigration Reform, which is a group the Southern Poverty Law Center classified as a hate group, will tell you that alien has been used for hundreds of years as a non-derogatory term to describe someone who is a foreigner. The term originates from the Latin word alias, which means another. Alien, used to describe a foreigner, had its first recorded usage in the English language in the 14th century and meant a person who does not belong to a particular family, community, country, etc. A person who does not belong. Alien is 14th century language. It comes from a time, yes, I recognize all language evolves. It comes from a time, stay with me, when empires classified humans into hierarchies. That hierarchical way of thinking permeated government and society and science for hundreds of years. Early anthropologists in the 19th and 20th centuries would stereotypically describe each race. Like they measured skulls and they did these observations, and then they proposed these grand theories about the races of humanity, and then they plugged them into a hierarchy according to their supposed traits. And white people always landed on the top of this hierarchy, and black and brown people on the bottom. Now, in the 21st century, we are still undoing this way of thinking. And words matter to that undoing. Using the terms illegals and illegal aliens does not undo the false and degrading hierarchy. They do not, as our shared value of pluralism states, celebrate that we are all sacred beings, diverse in culture, experience, and theology. FAIR, the anti-immigrant group, acknowledges the power of words, but they say the increased use of feel-good terms like undocumented immigrant is of particular concern to those who care about the integrity of America's borders. Fluffy and accurate terminology implies that violating our immigration laws is no big deal. Yes, they are suggesting that the term undocumented immigrant is fluffy and inaccurate, and not the proper legal terminology. But we know that lawfulness does not equal morality. We know that the words illegal alien are indeed used as a weapon to dehumanize people so that Americans become numb, so that we turn a blind eye to what's happening in our cities as masked agents abduct and abuse people and tear apart families. Furthermore, I believe we do all care about the integrity of America's borders and the integrity of this country. But we know that violence begets violence, that hurt people, and that the only way to bring integrity back to this country is through reconciliation and healing. We need to begin to cultivate compassion so that we can start that healing, and we can do that with the words we choose. And so you might ask, should we use the term undocumented immigrants? While I am not wholly opposed to it, I'd like to take a look at who it is that is being targeted now in 2025. We are talking largely, but not exclusively, as Destiny mentioned, but largely talking about people from Central and South America. People with brown skin, people whose ancestors, or at least some of their ancestors, were the original inhabitants of the Americas for thousands of years. Some 15 to 20,000 years ago, their ancestors began to migrate across the Bering Land Bridge. Notice I used the word migrate. There were at least a few waves of migration. The migrations followed glacial thaws and changing land masses. It was a long-term nomadic process, not a state-sponsored or organized movement, as has been the case with Europeans since only the 15th century. Over thousands of years, hundreds of distinct cultures emerged all across the American continents. People developed deep relationships with the land, and they certainly did not live according to the contemporary boundaries of state that have been imposed since European conquest and colonization. Europeans, in the matter of a few hundred years, stole and colonized the Americas and displaced and exterminated native peoples from the Arctic Circle on down to the tip of South America. And now we make laws that label their descendants as illegal aliens. But here's a curious fact. Before 1965, migrants from Central and South America could enter the US with few restrictions, as there were no limitations for Western Hemisphere countries. However, in 1965, the Hart-Celler Act was passed. This act created a new immigration system that, for the first time, imposed numerical limits on immigrants from the Western Hemisphere. Because of the new law, many people who would have entered legally before 1965 suddenly became illegal. I'm wearing a shirt today that states, "No one is illegal on stolen land." I question the use of the term immigrant for anyone with native North, Central, or South American ancestry. I want to know, how do we account for the experiences of people from Central and South America in order to advance a human rights approach to migration? How do we account for the fact that migration has always been an important and necessary aspect of human life? How do we address the legacies of conquest and colonization that undergird state policies on border regulation, immigration, and the recent violence enacted by ICE? How do we call on compassion so we may address the fact that migrants from Central and South America, just like European immigrants sometimes, are often fleeing situations of economic, social, and political unrest? There are many questions that can and are being asked about this very complex situation by legal scholars, human rights activists, and indigenous populations. Sadly, our government is not addressing the issue. Instead, they are buckling down and using the words illegals and illegal alien and perpetuating violence in our cities. But we dream of a better world. And the first step to making that dream a reality is changing our words and helping others to unnumb themselves and resensitize so they may see the people they have been taught to fear as sacred human beings who need gentle, truthful words.
The Reverend Cameron Trimble continues. As my friend and colleague, Reverend Tracy Blackman, reminds us, prophetic resistance is only possible for those who still dream. You must be able to dream to see justice in the midst of it all. Tenderness is the soil of that dreaming. It is the part of us that refuses to be numbed by cruelty or conformed to despair. When we reach for one another with care, when we peacefully protest, offer a gentle word, hold silence with someone in pain, we resist the empire's logic of separation. We bear witness to a deeper truth, that love, in its fiercest form, often shows up as gentleness.
The saying, "Sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me," is a 19th century children's rhyme. While it originated in England, the first written record of it in the United States appeared in the 1860s in a publication from the African Methodist Episcopal Church. It was used as a way to build resiliency against racial prejudice. Do we still expect parents to teach their children this saying so they can numb themselves and become desensitized? Or will we choose better words that cultivate compassion within us, leading us into actions that contribute to the tending of souls and the healing of the world? I wonder, what if no one was illegal on this stolen land?
Our closing words for today come from the Reverend Scott Taylor, "The tenderness that makes us fierce." May compassion lead us closer to the broken and brokenhearted. May that proximity prove once again that we all suffer as equals, And may those shared struggles give us the courage to act, not just feel, to confront the cruelty, not be numbed by it, to protest, not just offer prayers. May the tenderness of our hearts, friends, make us fierce about fixing the world. Please rise in body or spirit and join us in singing our closing song, Try a Little Kindness by Glenn Campbell. Catherine, can you come forward and extinguish our chalice for us? Please join me in our chalice extinguishing words as Catherine does that. We extinguish this chalice, but not the light of truth, the warmth of love, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts and out into the world.